Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Van Orn and this is another Dragonheir Silence God video. I'm back to the test server today on VORTEX in particular because with only 2 days away from VORTEX 4 opening up on the live server, I thought most of you guys will be looking up to your roster and try to think what is the best comp to run on VORTEX 4 to deal with the decreased defense, what could be the damage potential, and how to build your champion. So I decided to come back to the test server and try 3 different comps, one for each affinity pairing with the best support, at least on paper, of those champions that are free to play or low spender accessible through, pulling dice, so epics and lower, or through playing the game. So we have those legendary that you'll be able to collect by playing season after season. But if you're watching this video, in Season 4, we're going to talk about alternatives for those champions as well. Upgrade, downgrades, gear sets and everything, all in details for each comp. I've tried to not go overboard with the mythical artifact neither. We're only going to use those 2 that are the tops of your choice as soon as you put pull at dupe, which are the Witch's Remain and the Garius Gatekeeper Staff. Garius exclusive. Those are 2 of the most look after mythical artifacts to get from pulls. And obviously if you have dupes, you can also get the Hourglass. We're not using this in any of the comps today because none of the comps need such a slow lowering of the ultimate energy. But that is also the 3rd choice usually for players, and some of this comp might work with some alteration using the Hourglass. I'm only using those 2 anyway. I'm trying to set this rule to make it basically more equal as possible. Didn't build the Psychic Core fully, so the scores are not crazy and they're a little bit more realistic. This is the level that you can build with the elements that they give us on the test server when we start the season. If you play the game and you do pillars and everything, you're able to build the rest, but I don't have time to play dual account. So this is where we get today. None of the last bonus, so it's equal playing for everyone. And the boss rules are the same from each of them because there is no elemental affinity. We're gaining damage when we're using ultimate energy, and we're taking less damage when we have buff, really. So equal playing for all of them, as I said. Not overboard with the mythical gear and champion, they are accessible. And hopefully you've been able to pull through dice, but we're going to see alternatives as well. So let's jump into the Vortex and let's have a look at the first comp. First comp we're going to have a look is a combination of Radiant and Lightning champion with Dauntless DPS. It's very simple to build. Hardred was the champion fusion event of season 2. So I hope you've been able to snatch her because she is absolutely amazing, a game changer. Garius is an epic. All the rest of the DPS that I brought over here are epic, that I hope you've been able to collect through Starlight dice and Elolite dice and playing the season and the chest that you get through the event. This is a nice comp, and I'm going to show you the builds. So you're going to see what I've been doing over here. We're going to have Ardred in protection set with the eye patch just to build the defense. The chest is random. I had this one built, so it doesn't matter. She has high defense, and that's pretty much all that matters. Garius has the Gatekeeper Staff, and he's built in the Oasis set. This set in Season 4 is really, really good for your tank with high HP because when you're going to take the Lightning Strike, it's going to reduce the damage that it takes and makes your run basically go a little bit longer. We're going to bring to increase attack and place decreased defense Shagroll. He also has an aura that do attack speed increase by 24%. He has enough accuracy to do the job. He's built high crit rate and brings a bit of damage while bringing the increased attack to the team. Then I'm bringing Shelter to do derivative damage. As you can see, I'm using the Vile Ink, which is another artifact you can get through Dupe's Epics. He has the Unclean Blood, I think is called. This sets keep changing name. Unclean Bloodline set, which basically increase the derivative damage. He does derivative damage, so you build him high attack and high enlightenment. That's all you need to care about him. And then lastly, we bring Talarion, which is a new champion introduced in Season 4. Don't worry if you don't have him. There are plenty of options for Dauntless. You can bring someone like Nimbus. You can bring other DPS. It's pretty much a good DPS, probably one of the best DPS, epic, but is replaceable. I built him with the Monarch set to boost his crit rate and crit damage. He's built high crit rate. He has the attack speed set to do more damage because he does everything, all his ability basically are countered basic attacks. So you want that to happen as often as possible. He double hits pretty much on each of the attacks. So you want him to do a lot of damage. And that's pretty much it, really for this comp. Let's have a look at the timing. I'm using pretty much a standard set of timing for Ardrit and Garius, 16.5 20 seconds, 26.5 20 seconds, and then I'm getting him to place the decreased defense first, and the rest of the DPS basically to do damage after, while I'm leaving Shelter free to go because that is basically going to do damage pretty much every time we hit the boss with basic attacks, and those are happening even outside the decreased defense window, and so I want him to do a lot of damage. Now this comp can be run with two auras. You can run it with defense aura from Ardrit 30%, or you can run it with increased attack speed aura from Shelter. Shagro, and I've tested both of them, and the results are similar. A bit better with the increased attack. With the defense aura, I've been able to push this comp over 50 millions, while with the attack speed aura, I've been able to push it over 54 million, which is a decent result, you know. It's accessible comp. There's no yet the full affinity psychic core build, so this comp can scale even higher. It's a good result to start with and to compare the other comps as well. And obviously we said we were talking about upgrades. Obviously if you have the exclusive Najenka with the exclusive artifact, this comp can scale like crazy. You can bring someone like Suta, Garrett in this comp. They're all gonna do amazing damage. You can substitute Shelter with Ivelios if you want even more damage. All of those comps are good options. None of them is bad really. And so you can scale the damage up as much as you want on this comp. But nevertheless, 54 millions as a basic line for a comp that is so accessible. It's very good on Vortex 4. And this was the first team that I compared to. And so let's see the second one. Second team I've been comparing has been a wild team with two supports. One is free to play and one you're going to be able to obtain in only a few weeks in Season 4. I've used her over someone like Vikak, for example, because we all going to try to get her in a few weeks. And so this is going to be a more fair representation of how far we can push this comp in Season 4. She's going to be accessible through events. We can work our way through her. And when we're going to have it, we're going to basically play her for most of the season, for the second half of the season. And so this can be your comp that you can build for that part. I'm using Furbat, as I said, Calavera, and then I'm bringing a free legendary, which is Erich, which you all got for free in Season 1, by just following the storyline. I'm bringing Tonanan and I'm bringing Folly. Folly is here because of the aura. And she does a decent damage. She's not too bad. We can bring Nedda, for example. She does damage, but she doesn't have an aura that I can use over here. We don't have aura from our support, and so I need someone able to bring some damage and increase the damage of the team. We're going to talk about the replacement of this comp as well, but first let's have a look at the gear. So let's jump over here. And let's go very, very quickly over this. I have Furbat in protection set with the Crown and Clean because I need an artifact that gave him more defense to increase his heal and more accuracy to place the decreased attack. I needed to get to the right accuracy. I can probably go a little bit lower over here, but I needed to top up something because I couldn't reach the 220 plus the affinity to get to the points I needed. And so I've used the Crown and Clean. And on Calavera, I'm using the Gatekeeper staff. She's in Oasis. She's my highest HP champion to take the lightning strikes. She's going to deal also with the decreased defense while bringing another decreased attack. So we can run the comps a little bit longer. My Witches Remain applier is going to be RH. The gear are similar to what you saw before, so I'm just pushing high crit rate and gone a bit overboard over here. I didn't have time to min-max everything, but it has still a good decent attack, some crit damage, it brings some good utility overall, a lot of hits. I'm bringing Tonanan with the giant eyeball over here, which is another accessible piece of artifact. I could have used something mythical on him, to be honest, to boost his damage even more, but as I said, I try to keep it fair and relatable to everyone. He's 80% crit rate, you don't need anything more. High crit damage, decent attack, and then I'm using Foley. With attack, crit rate, she's a bit lower over here, but then she compensates with a crit rate from this artifact, which is the Monarch, which gets converted to crit damage when she goes over the 100%, and she does over here, so we're getting some more crit damage. Now on this comp over here, it's worth saying that I've tried different gear for the DPS. I've used both of them. I've used the Emissary Whisper and I've used the Shade of Death. Now the Shade of Death in theory should convert basically damage when we pass a certain threshold. I've not been able basically to get much out of it, to be honest. And this set is only really good on Dauntless or people that do basic attack. This set is only good for direct damage. We don't do much direct damage over here. And Emissary set overall is the one that's been pushing more damage. I'm going to show you both comparison when I'm done with this team. But this set and this build in particular are the one that had more damage for me. Now I'm not saying that the sets is probably better. Maybe in live server they did some change if there was something wrong with the gear. Or if you have better gear with more crit damage, you might be able to push more damage from the others. But for me, for the gear I've had, with all the testing I've done, this is the best. So as I said, we're bringing Foley for the aura because we don't have anyone else. And for the timing, pretty much we're doing the same that we were doing before. We have a decreased defense over here at 21.5. With Calavera, I'm going 27 because she has a weird delay between when she does the ability and when the ability actually happened. There's a 5-second delay. I wanted her to be covering the parts of the fight that the decreased attack from her but is not happen when it's not happening basically, and this is the best timing I've found so far. I'm using RH at 11.7, and then I'm delaying basically the 2 attack to be sure to hit on the decreased defense because his ability is quite long and hits over time 5 times, and I want to get that ability of the 2 DPS hitting on decreased defense. I've been able to push this comp all the way to 50 million with the gear you saw in this show off. With the other set, the damage was way lower and I got only to 43 million. Sorry if I look down, I have my notes. But 43 million compared to 50. So the difference is substantial. And we're getting very close to what we've done with the Dauntless team. Overall, with a pretty accessible comp using Calavera though that we're going to have through the event. Now this comp over here though has probably the highest skill ability. Because if you start substituting some of this champion with better options, the damage increase quite dramatically. If you have, for example, Cinerel, you can use Cinerel instead of Furbat, granting your comps way more survivability. You can put the Gatekeeper stuff on him. You're going to have permanent decrease attack and shield and heal for your comps that goes like crazy. You can build Calavera with 0 accuracy. She's going to be there basically to heal, increase defense, and remove the decreased defense. And she's going to do a massive... She's going to be a massive upgrade because you can build her with more defense, and so she heals more. And it's going to be a very interesting combination. Probably one of the best support pairing if you have those two. Now also you can replace Foley with Felicity if you pull her from the horn. She has an aura that can be used here to do more damage. And she has a triple hit ultimate, also doing good amount of damage. Or if you've been super lucky and you pulled Flora, well, that comes with Cinerel and Calavera. Is probably the one that can scale the best of all the comps we're going to see today. If you have even been more lucky and you have the exclusive artifact for Flora. That is probably the second best comp behind the Broken Rat Rook. That comp can scale all the way up to almost 200 million, close to 200 million, with the fully built Psychic Core, the exclusive artifact, the right time in the right gear and everything. That is probably the second best comp for this season. But obviously you scale down the more and more champions you take out, and running it with something accessible can still get you over 50 million, which is a completely respectable result and very good for free to play in my opinion. You can run it only with this aura if you are the champions I have, as I said, so I've not been able to test it with something that gives more survivability. And so this is everything for this comp. So let's jump to the third one. The third comp we're gonna see today is the comp that used the Ice Blast champion. It's one of the school of damage that I love the most, especially for single target. It's been incredible in past season, in particular like season 2 when we ran it with the Radiant pairing. Guillotine is an amazing DPS, Blinding is an amazing enabler for single target DPS. And then obviously in that affinity pairing we have crazy good support. Now in this season we don't have that combination. We have it paired with Necrosis. Necrosis and Highs combined really don't offer much in terms of accessible support. Able to deal with the decreased defense, bring maybe an increased attack, healing enough to keep the team running. And so I've tried pretty much everything I had available. In this comp over here, we're going to see Aladia and Megan as support for Bleeding, built with the Zero set. Aladia is going to be my Oasis set to take the striking. And Megan is going to be basically taking up some of the damage with the protection set built fully defense. And my two DPS from Ice Blast, Neja, champion we're going to get from Faye or Pillar, not yet clear from where. She's built for damage. I've used the same set that you saw before to have a fair comparison. And Gertin is built with the Manticore statue to take advantage of her battle skills because it's doing a lot of damage. Between the aura available, I've tried the crit damage and the HP. To be fair with you, the HP is the one that gave me the best result, probably because the run can go a little bit longer, but nevertheless the result is quite bad, to be honest. I've only been able to push this comp to 26 million, which is barely enough to get us the top chest from the VORTEX 4. Pretty bad result, especially when compared to the rest of the comps. I've also tried different combination. I've been running 3 supports, bringing in Estella and try to get more healing, try to get Megan to still deal with the decreased defense, Aladia to place the decreased attack, building only 2 DPS and try to push all the best gear on the cat over here and using Bleeding to enable her. And he was still built with 0 set on this comp over here because obviously I need someone to place the decreased defense. So you're basically running only 1 DPS, and this comp is terrible. It doesn't even make it over like 20 million or around 20 million. So I wouldn't suggest running it at all. I've then tried to bring Tia, and I've cheated on my initial rules because in this comp Tia is built with the Mystic Conch to build her low accuracy and try to place the decreased defense. When you basically boss resist the buff that you want to try to land. She has healing prohibition. I don't care about healing prohibition, but I want also to take advantage about invisibility and debuff immunity, so I don't have to deal basically with the decreased defense. I tried to bring this comp over here and using Estella to heal, Aladia basically as my decreased defense, my decreased attack and my shielding. I still need to bring a healer because otherwise I don't want to not have enough healing. So I can't run 3 DPS, but in this comp I can push basically Bleeding in a full DPS gear, as you can see, and run it with the Neja DPS build as well. And this team as well is not doing much. It's just above 20 million again. And so far from our target, and a good result of what could be considered VORTEX 4. And so quite in desperation, I had to resource to support from a different affinity. We're running a team with only 3 affinity over here bonus, and we bring in the support from the Radiant. I'm using Ardred and Garrus in the same build you've seen before, and I'm using the other champion in the same build that you've seen over here. So we're going to have Blading, the 0 set to place the decreased defense, and the 2 DPS to do the damage basically. I'm running the team with the defense aura from Gertin, and this team has been able to push over 30 million and is the best result I've been able to get from Ice Blast. And it's a shame in my opinion, because this affinity and this school of damage in particular have a crazy good potential, but there is nothing accessible, nothing as epic goes, an accessible legendary that can make you do the jumps to a good scoring to compete, you know, somewhere useful on the leaderboard, for example, and be competitive over there. If you have the legendary, if you've been lucky, this comp can scale quite impressively and can be probably a third comp in the competition for best with the floor 1, obviously behind the crazy broken rat. But nevertheless, if you have Felosia and you can bring a Stallion, and if you have been lucky and you get Beldel, you can run this comp pretty high. But then we start looking at a lot of champions and a lot of legendary. And obviously, if you want to run 2 DPS, the only really option there is Shina. And so we are looking at pretty much a fully legendary comp with only the kitty cat from season 4 to be slotting in there. So at that point, you are running a Stallion, you're running Felosia to protect your team. Probably you're going to have to use the vest on that comp. You're going to have to run Shina to place the decreased defense and enable with the Ice Blast crystals all your DPS. You're going to have Beldel doing a lot of damage, and if she has the exclusive, she does even more damage. And then the only one remaining will be Neja or Gertin, depending on your luck, but they are pretty comparable. So that team can scale crazy high, probably around 290 million, but it is pretty heavy in terms of legendary, and it means you've been very lucky to pull all those champions. So this is everything from today, guys. These are all the comps that I've been able to test for you, for giving you an idea what the free-to-play accessible composition for VORTEX 4 are and what score they can do. I'm sure that there are more combinations out there, but I didn't have the time to try every single champions in the game. These are those that for me on paper look more interesting, and I know that pretty much everyone will be able to play. If you enjoyed the video, guys, as usual, please consider liking and subscribing. You're not gonna miss out on the next video out. And for today is everything. And until next video, guys, have fun.